Hey, beautiful people, welcome back. A little bit of something that you don't hear about too often. The non-citizen national passport is actually very easy to get. Very, very easy to obtain. But here's one step further. This world is a very, very big place, a very, very, very huge place. And you get to a certain place in your mind once you start to do things, it makes you realize the importance of expanding your territory, your venue, in your mind. When you start to read these public laws regarding passports and international relations. Because of course, to really understand the intricacies of how to do certain things and why and how it exists, you have to read the verbiage. And when you begin to read the verbiage, it becomes inevitable for you to see other things. About 4 years ago was when I was first introduced to this concept of having a second passport. Most people seek after the non-citizen national certificate that's embedded into the passport, the United States passport. That's good. I say put into consideration having a second passport for several reasons. One is you really want to remove your ties with the United States, quote unquote, as much as possible. Two, is something little known by many people, which is old treaties that exist. The list of things that I'm going to show you now did not come about by mere coincidence. They have their roots in old treaties that predates the Magna Carta. If you've ever wondered why you will see certain population of certain people from certain parts of the world, like France, or say that continent called Africa, for instance, you would see more population of people from West and East Africa come into the North Americas more frequently than any other parts of that thing called Africa. The reason why the Secretary of State Department of the United States allows certain population of certain people from certain part of the world to come here en masse in comparison to other people from certain parts of the world is actually linked directly to old treaties that the monarchs here in North America had with those group of people in those parts of the world. The only thing that changed is just the face and the name. But that power of sovereignty and the enforcement of that treaty remains inviolate and perpetual. And what I'm about to show you is one of those things along the same line. Put into consideration having a second passport. Let me give you an example. When you see certain people, the everyday man, go on vacations, cruise ship, Bahamas, Cancun, see, they do that because it's a getaway that they've seen on TV that they have to do to go on a vacation, something different, right? And then come back to your typical life. Nothing wrong with that. But those who know how to put vacation to use, besides using it as a business trip, what they do is they visit these areas based on language of the public laws in those areas and in the United States, and utilize it in conjunction with international law to meet the requirement of being able to get a passport. Why would you want to have a second passport? Again, people who know about how to properly use a vacation go to these specific areas, because each trip that you make there and that is recorded in their system can cause you to qualify to get a second passport just by your mere act of visiting that place for a certain amount of time during a year. I'm going to give you a list of the best parts of the world to have a second passport in case anything happens in North America. Or if you just want to go to a different place and have something. Some people might not think on that level, others do. Whatever the case may be, it's being presented here to you so that you know. And at least introduce that frame of reality in your mind so that you know it exists. Oftentimes, as humans that we are, if we don't know something exists, we don't really see the advantage or disadvantage to it. The world currency is going to change. And within your lifetime and my lifetime is what's going to happen. Is when it's going to happen. But the actual negative effect will be affecting your children and my children. And the so-called, these specific parts of the world that have these treaties with the Empire of Morocco, their economy is going to boom. Whereas the United States is going to go down. This is not to instill fear or some theoretical state of mind and people and whatnot. You know, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's going to be the end of the world as people know it, but it's not going to be a big deal to those who know about how the system functions. The easiest way to get a second passport for you and your family. Obtaining a second passport and citizenship is one of the best decisions you can make, meaning you can have dual citizenship, and in some case, triple citizenship. Yep. So your first step is to get the non-citizen national passport. And after that, work towards getting a second passport. What if that non-citizen passport, for whatever reason, if something happens, they revoke it, they rescind it, because it's their property. I challenge you right now, look into your passport. That passport book, if you still have the book version, flip to page 5 of that passport book. It's going to be a section that says important information regarding your passport. It's the second clause. It reads, this passport is a property of the United States, according to Title 22, Code of Federal Regulations, Section 51.9. It must be surrendered upon demand made by an authorized representative of the United States government. Meaning, it's their property. Even if you have the non-citizen national certificate, it should come in a passport card form. And they can take it whenever they want. And when that's done, if you don't have a private jet of yours, how do you go other places outside of North America, if need be? Even if it's not an emergency, say for whatever reason. On the YouTube page, we went over how they bar people by revoking passport that was issued or prevented them from obtaining it if they owe any type of encumbrance that's more than 50K. In furtherance of that, there are many more reasons where they can revoke it. Or demand their properties back according to the verbiage on the face of the passport itself. You know how many people get these non-citizen national passport and are not aware of these verbiage? You know how many people carry regular passports around and are not aware of these verbiage? It's in fine print in its face. The least they are obligated to do is to tell you that you can claim the ability to pass through the ports that's been set up, and these ports are nothing new. These are ancient ports of commerce that's just been modernized complete 27 minutes video is on the Patreon page. Take care. Best of luck.